A wise man once said, "It ain't over till it's over." And we've got one last episode for you. Hold on tight. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by Two Hands and a Foot. We won't tell you who's who. But before we get started, we've got the usual. Go ahead and click that like button, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you don't ever miss an episode, and then share this with all your friends. We want this channel going big, and you can help make that happen. All right, let's get into it.
Hey, it is here. I'm happy and excited, but I'm sad at the same time. We're at chapter 10, Weeden. I can't believe it, man.
And it's been a heck of a ride. This is a great book.
Indeed, indeed. So I am looking forward to all that chapter 10 has to play. So let's just jump right into it. What do we got?
All right, so chapter 10. Don't ever quit. Never, ever ring that bell. And he goes into the first story in this chapter talking about the bell itself. So it's day one of SEAL training. He and 150 other students are standing there. The instructor is walking around in front of them, talking about how this is fixing to be the toughest thing they've ever done. It's the toughest military training that we have to offer. It's going to hurt. It's going to not be fun. They're not going to sleep. They're not going to eat. They're going to have a lot of bad days. But if it ever gets too much, there's an easy way out. All anyone has to do is walk up to this giant brass bell and ring it 3 times. The instructor at that point lowers his eyes a little bit in his voice and he says, "But how did he put that? It was you'll never forgive yourself if you do."
Yeah.
So a few weeks later, quite a bit later, they're at the end of training and he's joined by 33 people total. Now, obviously, not all of them quit, as you and I know, and anyone else in the military. Sometimes you're going to have people to watch out for other reasons. You get hurt, you get sick.
Yeah.
Maybe they tell you to go because you're just not scoring high enough. You don't want to quit, but they're telling you, "Hey, come back next time."
Yeah.
So some of that's going to happen as well. But yeah, from 150 to 33, it's a pretty steep attrition rate for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, Admiral McRaven never rang the bell. Don't believe he was ever even contemplating it. At least he doesn't say he did. I'm sure everyone did at one point. Everyone's got that thought in their head a little bit. I know in basic there was a day or two I was just like, man, I can't do this. And that was just basic.
Yeah.
That's just 9 weeks. That's nothing. But and then like the rest of the chapters, he goes into a second story about someone else he knew that also never gave up, never quit. It was a young soldier. He was high up in the food chain of. He wasn't maybe a direct leader of this particular soldier, but he was the type of person that made calls that sent this soldier and his friends out on patrol.
Yeah.
This was a young Army Ranger actually, and during the patrol, it was his first tour. He was 19 years old. His first combat patrol. He'd been in country in Afghanistan for 2 weeks, and he steps on a pressure plate. So Admiral McRaven and another of his high-ranking, I don't know how to put it, another fellow commander in the food chain go to visit the soldier, and he's laying on the bed, and it's obvious his legs are gone. The blanket's laying against the bed where the legs should be, holding it up. He's got a lot of burns, a lot of wounds. He's got tubes coming out of him. He's in pretty bad shape. He looks to be unconscious, maybe in a coma, just out of it. He's definitely not awake. So Admiral McRaven and his fellow officer are getting ready to leave. About that time, the nurse is coming in, has been taking care of the soldier, and they get the prognosis from her. They did have to amputate his legs. He's definitely got wounds and burns all over his body, but he's doing good. His vitals are strong. He's going to make it. So the admiral says, "Okay, that's great. We'll come back when he's conscious." And she says, "Oh, he's conscious. He's just asleep right now." She walks over and kind of rubs his shoulder, wakes him up, and tells the admiral that he obviously can't talk right now because one of the tubes is coming out of his mouth, and he's got issues. Said, but growing up, his mother was deaf, and he knows sign language, and she hands him a little cheat sheet with some of the signs on it. And he's standing there trying to figure out what to say to the soldier, and he can't come up with anything. And the young ranger just looks at him, flashes some symbols, and he makes him out on the chart. And all the soldier said was, "I'll be okay." And then he goes back to sleep. And a year later, at a change of command ceremony, there's that young soldier in the crowd on prosthetics, challenging his ranger buddies to pull-up competitions, laughing and smiling. So yeah, he was definitely fulfilled that promise. He was okay. Yeah, both those stories are just, they really make you think about the fact that, no matter what you're going through, there's always worse. And you should never let that darkness win in any way. I mean, we all have despair. We all have times that, I've gone through it. I've had to take a day or two to just redress myself, recompose, and then get back after it. But don't tap out. Don't ever quit in any way. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on the people around you. Don't give up on you. That's kind of how I took that. And it's a really good summary to the rest of the whole book, which all led up to this point. Yeah. So, what about you, Mac? What do you think?
Oh man, that chapter just hits you.
Yeah, it does.
That's one of my favorite parts, though, is that ranger at that change of command later, egging on his fellow soldiers and
right.
Contest. That's
right.
That's what you want to see. That's what that provides hope as well.
Absolutely.
So, all because he didn't give up. He had a choice to, but he didn't. And there's a saying that a knight in shining armor has never had his metal tested. So you're gonna get beat up.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you gonna trust? A knight that looks like it's been the armor is no longer shiny. It's beat up and got dents in it and discolorations, or knight in shining armor. Knight in shining armor has no experience doing anything and hasn't lived
Right.
in it. And so we're all going to get beat up. We're all going to get go through hard times. And I'm reminded of two things. One, as you know, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but in my personal life right at the moment, there are things that are happening that are out of my control that are extremely, extremely burdensome. And I'm not going through anything physical or nothing like that on that end, medical on that end, but it's still difficult to bear. It's still difficult to deal with, and it's something that's out of my control. And so that also adds a layer of burden to it because as type A personalities that we both are, when we think we can fix something, we want to fix it, and we want to fix it now. And so I can't do that, and so I'm having to learn a whole lot of patience with this. But I can't give up. I can't give up because the outcome is a whole lot more important than my feelings are right now. And then second, I follow this guy on X. His name is Chris Enslow. I'll put a picture up here. Let me read a little bit about what he's going through. I follow him, and every day he posts on X what he calls gratitude walks. And why he calls them gratitude walks is because in January, so almost about 7.5 months ago, he he came out of, this is amazing. He came out of his second hip replacement.
Yep.
Now I don't know, what the situation was that put him in that position to need both of his hips replaced or whatever. But I do know, according to his profile on X, he's over 40, and he's grateful to be able to walk again. And so I'm sure he had a choice. Whatever caused those issues that he needs those hips replaced, whether it be an accident, or debilitating disease, degenerative disease, that whatever, from family run or genetics or what have you, or anything, something else. He had a choice. He could have sat in a wheelchair and did the whole wheelchair thing, but he wanted to walk. And so a second hip replacement later, he's on X and showing his journey of walking every day, and then his rehab, all of his workouts and those types of things. And so for me, that's an inspiration. You find people who are like-minded, and you follow them, and you take the inspiration of it. So yeah, that definitely fits in with the chapter. The picture, the last thing on this picture here that you read, don't give up.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing. And honestly, I didn't plan it. It says happy pre-Friday. Yes, today is Thursday when we're recording this. This was actually from like 2 weeks ago, and he posted, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna end up at the end of this chapter, or the end of this book, is don't give up. So I need to hold on to this picture. So I did. But yeah, so that inspires me. People like that, things that I see on a regular basis, and so being able to see those types of things is an inspiration for my own self and what I'm doing and what I'm dealing with as well. So yeah, don't ring that bell. Don't give up, because the outcome is far more important than the feelings of what you're going through right now. So I'm sure that in all the hearts and minds of those 33 who were standing there at the end, who were good enough and blessed enough to not get sick or injured to the point where they had to leave, and who didn't quit, were proud of what they accomplished and went on to do bigger and better things. The outcome was far more important. The lives that were saved, the missions that were done, those things were far more important than ringing that bell sometime in that 6 months of training. And so, I mean, who knows? We're talking about changing the world. 33 people didn't quit, and now those 33 people changed the world.
Yep.
And so I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, just because they didn't quit. Just because they didn't quit. So wow, chapter 10.
Yeah.
Chapter 10, man. The book itself. On a whole, what'd you think?
Oh, dude, it's a great book. Every chapter's got great stories to go with the little life lesson that he's trying to put out to you, from make your bed to don't quit, every step of the way. And each chapter builds on the one before it just a little bit. A little bit.
Indeed, I think it's a great read. Just technically speaking, I think it's a great read. I think it's very well put together. Like you said, one builds on the ones previous. I love the fact that in the book, that the transcript for the speech that he gave is at the back of the book. So you not only be able to read, see it on YouTube or whatever, but you have the speech to read as well for easy handling. I think it's something that allows the way that it was written. It allows for multiple quick reads, very quick reads. You can read a chapter in a couple of minutes. If that's all the time you have, maybe on a lunch break or something like that. But it also is a decent one-time sit down and read. If you intently read it, an hour to an hour and a half at the most in one sitting.
Yeah.
If you read slowly and take it in for what it is, and from front to back to include the speech and everything, I think it's a great motivator. You can't deny the inspiration reading this book. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we're in the Army, but everybody wants to be a Navy SEAL.
Everyone wants to be an operator anyway.
Everybody wants to be a Navy SEAL. One of those types of
One of those types. If I had gone special, if I had gone any operator style, I would have been Delta. But yeah,
we all want to be that cool, that tactical,
right? That cool guy.
Exactly.
The cool gear, the cool missions,
so
beard,
it's
uniform.
Yeah, it is very inspirational. I think though, the last couple of weeks, one of my small groups we've been talking about levels of hearing, and it was mainly talking about the auditory sense, but I've kind of expanded it to, because like hearing, especially with these levels, is like taking in any type of information or receiving any type of information. So you can hear by seeing, by touching, by smelling. So the first level is mechanics. Do all the parts of your ear work? Does the outer ear catch sound properly? Do the bones hit properly? The eardrum, back and forth. The mechanics work. Yes. Okay. Then there's the hearing where do you understand, or the receiving that do you understand what you're seeing, hearing, touching? Can you comprehend it? Like, is it in your own language? Or is it, a description or a picture that you recognize from somewhere or something along the lines, or a feeling that that kind of understanding, that level of hearing. Then there's the level of, does it move or inspire you? Okay, you can comprehend it, but does it inspire? Does it invoke emotions? And then there's does it change your behavior? That's that line of what do we do? What do we know versus what do we do? And so I think this is great for helping us to change our behavior, because there's simple steps. Even though he talks about SEAL training and stuff like that, but it's some of the most difficult training in the world.
Yeah.
Any person can do these steps and build upon them and become an inspiration themselves. It's not hard to make your bed. SEALs do it, but it's not hard for us to make our bed. It's not hard for us to stand up to bullies. It's not hard for us to apply not giving up. We don't have to be that tier 1 level or that tactical stuff. We can do that in our own world. And I think that to me, I want to read the last chapter in the book. It sums up the whole thing rather well. And it says, remember, start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when times are toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never, ever give up. If you do these things, then you can change your life for the better, and maybe the world. You may not know fully the extent of how the world changes because of you following these principles, you maintaining discipline, because there are people who maybe see this video who we don't know, and they become inspired, and they go and they change things. They go and become a doctor because hey, I'm not going to give up on this schooling. They become a doctor and they save lives, or they go into law enforcement and save lives, or medical, the EMT world or whatever, and save life, firefighters, all that kind of things. They do those types of things. And so you never know. So the key is to maintain the discipline in yourself, and then maybe, just maybe, every once in a while, it's okay to imagine that far off, distant, whatever, and saying, you know what, the outcome is more important than the feelings I'm going through right now. Someone out there needs me to be the hope. Someone out there needs me to be that person to go alongside them. Someone needs me to tackle that bully. Great book, man. Great book. So, hey, along for the ride, Weeden. I appreciate you coming alongside me on this. Hey, you never know what we'll come up with next.
Yeah.
I like your idea from the last time we talked. I'll keep
Yeah.
that a secret for now, but I like your idea from the last time we talked. I'll have to figure that one out. But yeah, I like that idea. So, guys, it was a pleasure doing this for you guys. Let us know in the comments if you like the entire book, the parts of it, all that kind of stuff. I will link every I'll link the speech again and the book,
Yep.
on Amazon, everything again, along with the Twitter page for Chris Enslow, and so you can follow him on X. You can follow this channel on X. Hey, might as well pitch that as well. So
Heck
we've
yeah.
got some cool things coming up. We appreciate you guys coming alongside and viewing this book review. Hey, maybe we could do another one. If you got another book that you want us to do, maybe we can jump into that as well. Put those in the comments. Again, Weeden, thank you so much for coming along. It was a pleasure to have you, buddy.
Man, it's a pleasure being here. One more time, though, for the rest of this month, this won't age well in the future, but for the rest of this month, I am still raising funds for Stop Soldier Suicide.
Indeed, and I'll put those links again in this video as well, so we can do that. So, hey, everybody, have a great afternoon, evening, night, morning, or midnight snack. Either way, as long as it's good. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.